This is Sessions for the Soul. My name is Amy, and thank you for being here with me today. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And I don't want to hear another person say, they don't deserve my forgiveness, I'm not going to forgive them, it's punishment. The only person you're punishing by choosing not to forgive is yourself. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. Unpopular opinion, but it's the truth. You're only hurting yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what that person did was right. It's not acknowledging to them that it's okay to keep doing these things that hurt you or doing you wrong in a sense. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of resentment and anger and pain from things that were out of your control, from things caused by other people or other circumstances outside of yourself. Forgiving is gaining control back of yourself and your emotions and your state of being. And a lot of times, the people that we feel have done us wrong or that we feel shouldn't be forgiven are out living their life just fine. They've moved on. They don't care. But the person that's left with the most pain and the person that it's hindering the most is you, is the person that is choosing not to forgive. Even taking it a step further as to seek revenge, right? Get someone back for something that they did. It's another controversial topic, but revenge is only bringing yourself down to their state. By seeking revenge, you're choosing to lower your vibration for the sake of being spiteful and delivering someone's karma directly to them. When karma is going to come to that person regardless, it's not your job to deliver it for them. And by doing so, you're only harming your own energetic frequency. And in turn, you're then receiving that same karma because the universe does not look at, was this right or wrong? The universe just gives back. That's what karma is. Karma is the action from your choices that you make in life. It's not necessarily good or bad, it just is. So when you lower your state to do something back to someone with the intention to hurt, with the intention to get them back, you're going to receive that low vibrational energy given back to you in the ways that the universe gives out karma. So in turn, you're punishing yourself twice. I know it might be hard for some people to get past that. It's an ego trap. It's the biggest thing the ego struggles with, because when the ego is attacked, when the ego is hurt or provoked, it tries to justify revenge as a way to make peace for the situation and get their justice and get what they deserve, as if any action with ill intent is justified. There's always a balance. Karma will come around, and it is not your burden to take on other people's problems and play God in a sense. Now, if you don't want that to happen to you again, there are things that you can do, and you can set boundaries, and you can verbalize things, and you can remove yourself, and you can properly protect yourself for next time. But trying to inflict pain on others or essentially do the same thing back is not the answer. And then you will find that even when you seek revenge, at the end of it, you haven't fully forgiven the person. You haven't actually let go of that resentment. Even if you feel it's justified and now it's fair, that doesn't automatically mean you've come to terms with it and you've forgiven the person. And forgiveness does not have to be verbally expressed. It does not have to be done face to face to that person. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes the people we need to forgive are not even here with us anymore. But That doesn't mean it's a burden you have to carry. To forgive is to let go, like I said. To forgive is to acknowledge and accept that it has happened and choose to move past it and make the decision of not letting that situation, that person, that pain determine your quality of life and the days ahead, right? It's in the past. Leave it in the past. And when you choose not to forgive somebody, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because you're blocking your heart chakra and you're blocking love to enter in and flow. When we're in pain, when we hold resentment, we're not leaving space for love to enter in. That energy is taking up space, and it's taking up space in your heart center. And it's not leaving much more space for love and gratitude and joy. So what happens is when we have a block in our heart center, the energy cannot then flow upwards to our higher chakras, our throat, our third eye, our crown. The energy isn't flowing, so then it becomes hard for us to express ourselves and our needs. We're not living truthfully and authentically, or we become harsh with our words and hurt others because we're hurt. We're not getting the clarity and the guidance from spirit, from source, from our higher self. Our judgment is clouded. We're confused. We doubt ourselves. And we're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We're not seeing the positive side. We're viewing life in a very pessimistic way. Like everyone's out to get us. Why does bad things always happen to me? When we stop and we shift our victim mentality and we let it go, we free ourselves. When we unblock our heart, we start living and making choices from love and accepting and forgiving and healing and moving past. Nothing can faze you. Nothing can shake you because at your core, in your heart, you know yourself, you know your worth, and nothing anyone else does can take that away from you. You start to see that everything that everyone else does, every reaction that is given to you, everything that people say to you when people hurt you is a direct reflection of them. You put yourself in their shoes. Why are they this way? Why are they speaking like this? Their reaction is like this. You know, everyone is learning, and a lot of times the people that hurt us are hurting themselves because no one with a sound mind who is confident within themselves, who is truly happy and content, will go out of their way to harm another person. So don't take it personal. And it's not an excuse, and it doesn't justify their behavior, but it does help us to understand that everyone is human and we all make mistakes, intentional or not, but that should not affect us. Detach yourself from that outcome, from that experience, from that person, and know yourself. And you will see how easy it is to forgive. Forgiveness is not a weakness. Being compassionate, empathetic, kind, these are qualities of strong, wise people. Forgive others and forgive yourself. I feel that's the hardest thing for some people, is being able to forgive themselves. Because the things that we've done, especially if they've struck a very strong negative emotion in us or a very positive emotion, right? These are the things that stick in our brain when they leave an emotional impact and we play them over and over in our mind. These things can haunt us. And sometimes it makes it even harder to forgive ourselves when the people we might have wronged or hurt don't forgive us or haven't verbalized their forgiveness. But that's another thing that we need to be aware of, is nobody is obligated to forgive us. Nobody is obligated to come up to you and verbalize that they have forgiven you about something. And honestly, we don't need that. We may feel like we do to be able to move on, right, to get closure, but really and honestly and truly, it's the ego that needs it. It's the ego trying to seek validation that their behavior is acceptable or has been forgiven so it can move on. Only the ego needs it. But if you can just get out of your own way and remove the ego trying to tell you and hold you back, then you have the power in your hands to say, I forgive myself. I know what I did hurt another person, and I choose not to be that person anymore. And you don't have to be that person anymore. The version of you that did those things only lives on if you continue to do those things and you don't forgive yourself. Because then it's like you're punishing yourself for something that you did in the past that no longer resonates with who you are now. That is not something that you would do now. And you cannot truly embody a better version of yourself if you're still punishing yourself from things that you did when you were that other person, when you were at a lower state, when you were unhappy and anxious and depressed and fearful and all of these things. If you don't want to be that anymore, stop treating yourself like you are like that. Forgive and move on. You made the mistake and you learn from it, and you choose every day to not make the same mistakes again. Stop letting other people rob you of your peace, rob you of your sanity, rob you of your joy, because you choose not to forgive. Because then you are the one robbing that from yourself. Because it is your decision, right? What they did, they've already done. It's in the past. You can't change it. It was out of your control. And in life, there will be a lot of things that are out of our control. And it's not our responsibility to place the blame, right? Because a lot of times there's more factors to what has happened than we may even see or know. Sometimes we played a part in it as well, right? And sometimes it wasn't the other person, but an outside circumstance that happened that interfered. Maybe it was divine intervention. Maybe it was made to happen this way so we could learn something from it. You know, I strongly believe in reincarnation and choosing our lives before we come here, and the people we meet, the lessons we learn, our soul contracts. Sometimes things are happening for a bigger purpose than we can comprehend or see coming, so we can learn, so we can evolve, so we can choose love in situations where love is lacking. Become consciously aware of that. Don't be so harsh on yourself and on others. We're all trying our best. We all have a lot to learn. Some of us learn things sooner than others. Some of us have to do it the hard way. But don't let resentment make home in your body. Get it out. Release it in any way that you can. If you don't want to go up to the person and tell them that you forgive them, journal it. Write it down. Write a letter to that person, right, as if you were speaking to them. Pray about it. Send them a message telepathically, or put it out in the universe. Record yourself on your phone as if you were speaking to them, right? But I also want to note that forgiveness is not just saying, I forgive you, and that's it. Because if you are still holding on to any sort of bitterness, any resentment, any anger, pain, you haven't truly forgiven that person. Same thing with yourself. If you say, I forgive myself, but when that situation is talked about or something reminds you and you feel guilt or shame or just bad about it still, you haven't truly forgiven yourself. There's a lot of healing involved with it. It might take a while, it might take weeks, it might take months, it could even take years, right? to fully be able to look within yourself and say, I forgive myself, or look at that person and truly know and feel, I forgive you. But when those negative emotions do come up, it's just reminding you that healing still needs to be done, and that's okay. You can try meditating on it. You can try energy healing like Reiki, pray. And while the situation that happened will not change, it's happened already. But it doesn't have to happen and live on every day in your body, mind, and spirit. And I hope that this gave you a new perspective on forgiveness. And if there's someone that you need to forgive today, that you make that conscious choice and free yourself. And that's all I have to say. So thank you guys for listening, and namaste.